Since his sister passed away, this boy's life has been shrouded in endless darkness, until he discovered a mysterious tunnel, which, according to rumors, could grant any wish. If he reached the end, he could bring back the loved ones he lost. Kaoru decided to do whatever it took to save the sister he could never see again. However, time in the tunnel passed completely differently from the outside world. One day inside the tunnel equated to 6.5 years in the real world. What Kaoru could do was enter the tunnel during school holidays with his classmate Anzu, who also had her own obsession. 3 real-world vacations would buy them only 108 seconds of exploration in the tunnel. Kaoru and Anzu chose to run through the tunnel quickly, but the tunnel seemed to have no end. 50 seconds passed, and ahead, there were still a vast number of maple trees. Kaoru was getting desperate. He grabbed Anzu's arm and reminded her that they should turn back, but Anzu didn't stop. She kept running forward. Kaoru, unwilling to turn back, continued forward. Suddenly, a few scattered comic books flew out of the tunnel. Kaoru realized these comics had a special meaning for Anzu. He stopped hesitating, gave up on turning back, and turned around to help Anzu pick up the comics. They wasted a few seconds, then hurried out of the tunnel. Several hours had passed in the real world, and it was now 4 a.m. Kaoru knew he couldn't go home and explain, so he followed Anzu to her house. Inside Anzu's house, Kaoru saw a whole wall filled with comic works. He finally understood Anzu's obsession with comics. Anzu told Kaoru that her grandfather was once a comic artist, but his works were never recognized. He lived in poverty, and eventually passed away. Influenced by her grandfather, Anzu started drawing comics, but when her father saw her first work, he threw it away. This made Anzu leave home alone. She decided to become a great comic artist. Anzu's goal wasn't to revive her grandfather, but to find inspiration for drawing in the tunnel, and then become a better comic artist. After reading Anzu's works, Kaoru thought her drawings were excellent, and encouraged her to submit them to publishers. Anzu held back her excitement, but decided to push her dream forward. Kaoru was happy for Anzu, but his determination to bring his sister back remained firm. Kaoru admired Anzu's pursuit of her dream, and understood the pressure she was under. Gradually, his heart softened, and he decided to enter the tunnel again on August 2nd. The day before departure, Anzu excitedly found Kaoru, and told him that her comics had been selected by a publisher. Kaoru immediately realized that Anzu no longer needed to enter the tunnel. She had already found the courage to pursue her dream, and her dream was already in her hands. So, Kaoru proposed to delay entering the tunnel. He planned to go back into the tunnel alone. When he said goodbye, Kaoru held a sunflower in his hand. He softly mentioned their first conversation. Anzu didn't notice Kaoru's farewell. She only wondered if Kaoru would ever return. Kaoru's heart had already solidified a belief. He would stop at nothing to find his sister. Kaoru knew that this tunnel might never end, and perhaps he would never be able to turn back, or even see Anzu again. On August 2nd, Kaoru entered the tunnel alone. Before leaving, he sent Anzu a text message. Then Kaoru stepped into the endless darkness. At that moment, it began to rain lightly in the sky. Anzu's tears mingled with the raindrops. For Anzu, facing the world alone was an unbearable torment. She didn't know if Kaoru would come back. Kaoru continued deeper into the tunnel, passing one illusion after another. Then Kaoru saw the lost MP3, symbolizing his carefree childhood. The laughing parents represented a harmonious family, but these had nothing to do with him. Kaoru continued on. His watch showed that 14 hours had passed, and over 4 years had passed in the real world. The tunnel still had no end.